shit. Good shit. So I was at Combo Breaker and I saw all these people playing Vampire Savior at a high level, tournaments for fucking all these weak ass, old ass games, and no Soul Calibur tournaments. So I was just thinking, man, you know, you can't let the damn series die. They're gonna make a new one anyway. I mean, they're gonna make a new one. I hope it's good, but you know they're gonna make a new one, and it's gonna come out after Tekken 7. And the thing is, they already said that whatever the soul still burns. Salted _ water. Good shit, man. Thanks for the fresh sub. That's nice of you. Newbies, thanks for being newbie subscribers. I really appreciate that. Good shit, salted _ water. So, what I'm saying is, you gotta think of it like this. These Namcoks, right? They're gonna make a new Soul Calibur game. They're going to do it someday. Chances are it's gonna be after Tekken 7, right? After Tekken 7, it's gonna be a pretty big advance forward from Soul Calibur 5. Soul Calibur 5 was on PS3. It's gonna be like a huge leap forward. And they're not gonna know what the fuck to do about it, right? They won't have a solution. Who said that? There was no message on that. Geepy2Man. Hey, thanks very much, Geepy2Man, for the 5 smackaroos and no message. Silent donation nationals, huh? Thanks, man. So, I really appreciate that, by the way. What do you think about Soul Calibur 3? Soul Calibur 3's console version is trash because it's littered with bugs. And I never played the arcade version of it because it was too little too late. So they fucked up Soul Calibur 3. It's a disaster. They blew it. You know what I mean? Anyway, hey, what's up, Max? Yeah, I'm talking about Soul Calibur 6. Sub-Zero, whatever the number is. What's the number? Sub-Zero 2891, thanks for the 5 inches, bro. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, Max, what I'm talking about is, at this point, they're gonna make another Soul Calibur, and it's gonna be in such a long time, they're gonna forget about what the fuck they're even doing, right? They're not gonna know how to make a Soul Calibur because nobody even pays any attention to it lately. So, I'm thinking maybe some spotlight is in order, right? I think there's some spotlight in order. The franchise gets no love these days. And it's too bad. It should get love. The system is fucking hella unique, right? Lethal Mind number 16. Thanks for the 8 inches, man. Sorry there's no visual celebration. But, yeah, man. It's fucking, it's too good of a franchise. I'll tell you why. I was thinking about this shit yesterday. I've been thinking about it since Combo Breaker because, you know, there aren't any good 3D fighting games to play these days. We're waiting for Tekken 7. Everything else is old. But I look back at all the old 3D stuff, right? And I really love Soul Calibur. But I'm thinking to myself, what is it about Soul Calibur that's special, right? You look back, history, right? Soul Calibur is different than Tekken because of a few things. Obviously, they have weapons, right? But in Tekken, you can't fake your jabs, right? When you push a jab, it comes out, and that's it. But in Soul Calibur, you always have been able to fake. So you can cancel all your normal attacks. And the reason those cancels are there is for this GI system. So initially, when I was a kid, that's what I thought was the biggest difference between Soul Calibur and Tekken. These two franchises that exist by these two, the same company makes these two games. And there must be a big difference. That's the difference. There's a GI system that goes back and forth like a tug of war, and all your normals, including all, not all, but some of your specials can be canceled. Unblockables can be canceled, and this exists to bait out the GI, the back and forth GI system. That's what was always special about this shit. But in the latest Soul Calibur game, they fucked it all up. You guys know, just think about what you, when you think about Soul Calibur, don't you think about this tug of war between two players that are just GIing They're different attacks back and forth. I mean, it's like the staple, right? Soul Calibur staple. And in this game, there's also the mind game depth of 2G, which a lot of people don't like. I can live with it or without it, but the GI in the first place is what I'm focusing on, right? The GI in this game is what makes it special. And the cancels. Baiting the GI. So it's not only the GI tug of war itself, but it's also your ability to have all these tools that are slow, where you could really punish a GI, right? I mean, like, it's the whole game. You know what I mean? One other thing that I think is very important when differentiating Soul Calibur from Tekken is movement. Freedom of movement. Tekken, it has free movement, but at a beginner's level, it's very restrictive. A beginner who just barely touches Tekken, they're gonna struggle to move. But a 10-year-long Grandmaster Korean veteran is gonna be whipping around the screen in Tekken like it's nothing. Easy movement, right? Well, this game is the opposite in terms of a beginner being able to move. All you have to do is hold up and you sidewalk up. It has a true 8-way directional movement system. So it's gonna feel a lot more free. You know what I mean? Freedom of movement is always there. In the latest Soul Calibur game, Soul Calibur 5, they fucked all that up. They made it so that you require meter to GI. So the thing that makes this game extremely different from Tekken is now restricted to meter. And all of those cancel moves that I've been talking about, either they got nerfed or they're made almost useless because there's no GI to bait. So if there's no GI to bait, why are you even using these cancels, right? So in the end, they don't use them. And then in Soul Calibur 5, they also made it so that if you move in any direction, if you're hit during that, you eat a counter hit. What the fuck is that about? So they make it so that at a high level, you're not allowed to move. The higher the level, the more you have to stand still. It's the opposite of fucking Tekken. It doesn't make sense, right? So I think they really went wrong by taking away those two core things that make Soul Calibur unique and special. The movement and the GI tug of war. You know, it's really frustrating to me because the system is so unique. The concept of the game is great, but they just fucked it up. I mean, that's really what it is in the end. And the people who like Soul Calibur 5 more, I mean, you can't say, I mean, they like it, right? They like it because there's something there of value. But the thing there of value is really not, it's not like following the original concept at all. Very, very different from the original concept, which is fine, but it's not like it's more successful either. I would agree with it if it was more successful. Like, let's say Street Fighter 4, right? A lot of people say, Third Strike is better than Street Fighter 4 because whatever, right? But in the end, you know, the cards don't lie. The money, the proof is in the pudding. More people like Street Fighter 4, so there's like warranted rationale, like evidence that supports why they should have made those changes. But for Soul Calibur, they didn't win. They made the changes, nobody likes the fucking game, and they lost what they were initially like about. The franchise like lost its way, and now it's all fucked up, and there is really this like disjointed fan base where nobody really knows what they want, right? So the way I see it, moving forward with this franchise, they really should go back to their roots. Because it's not like they have fucking anything going for them anyway. They should go back to the roots and focus on what made Soul Calibur able to exist alongside Tekken, right? That's the key. It needs to exist alongside Tekken, as opposed to like being a competitor. Soul Calibur 2 and Tekken 5 and Tekken 4 both were like coexisting at that time. But ever since then, it's always been oppositional, you know? The players have not been cross-pollinating between Tekken and Soul Calibur since Part 2. And it's obviously because of the game's design. They went in a whole nother direction with Soul Calibur 5, and it's all goofy, you know? I don't know. That's just my thought on it. I want to play this game more, and I think that it's not even just this game. Any Soul Calibur would do, right? I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter which is the best, right? It doesn't matter which is the best. What matters is none of them exist now. So pick one and fucking play it, right? Because none of them exist. I just went to Combo Breaker and there were people doing tournaments for Vampire Savior. And there was a tournament for Tekken Ball. But there was no Soul Calibur tournament, you know? It's not going to happen by itself, right? So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, man, just take out the trash. It stinks. They're gonna make a new one. Who the fuck is gonna develop that shit, right? Who's gonna develop that shit? They don't know how to make a game. Who knows who's gonna make the game? It's gonna be crazy. These characters are sick, man. These characters are so unique and interesting. I'm thinking Dan's gonna come by this weekend, and I'm thinking I'm gonna fuck him up with Cervantes. What do you guys think? I wonder if Beal's around. Hey, Beal, are you in the chat room? You want to come over and get your shit pushed in this game? Maybe he's not in the chat. Come over, I'll play you. But you gotta hurry the fuck up. Anyway, yeah, it was just kind of frustrating. What does he say? I'd honestly be happy with more focused. Yeah, I honestly, look, when it comes to the platform of how they develop the game, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I'm not qualified. I don't know anything about that shit, you know, Max? It's like, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All I know is they're gonna make another game. For sure. They already said it. The soul still burns. They're gonna make one. It's just like right now, because it's so early, this may be our only opportunity to make sure that that new game at least has a chance of not being a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Are you planning on looking at any SC2 matches today? I might be. Ghostulated. Sorry, I missed your sub. Thanks for the 2 inches, man. Thanks for neglecting to unsubscribe. Yeah, GI means guard impact. That's the universal parry system in the game. This. And then you can bait out a GI by doing a cancel. And, oh boy, start and select, huh? Good thing the load times are going.
Versus Cervantes. Battle, fight.
You know, I wouldn't hate it if they made a game called Soul Calibur. Right? I wouldn't hate it if they made a game called just Soul Calibur. And it was a remake of the original Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur 1. You know? This game is fucking sweet. Anyway, I was thinking of... Man, I gotta hit up that guy Vicious too. There's this guy named Vicious Suicide that lives nearby that I kind of want to get some games in this game, right? Fuck it, it's not gonna do, like... these matches are not gonna happen on their own. I gotta make it happen, right? Look at that shit on the bottom left of the screen. That's a weird bug in this version of the game. Man, I'm lucky this version ended up being so solid. SC1 is painfully broken, but it's amazing. Yeah, Soul Calibur 1 is good for on a casual level, but on a competitive level, Soul Calibur 1 really is kind of rough around the edges. There are some pretty game-breaking concepts available in the game. For example, Lizard Man has a safe launcher that reaches half screen, and there are no walls in Soul Calibur 1, only ring outs, and the stages are relatively small. So Lizard Man can do forward B, back B plus K, guard, and that headbutt, which combos after the forward B, launches you out of the screen from almost anywhere. So it's really like too top tier to even like it in anyone's hands that could ring out, right? So it's kind of like, wow, that's too bad. That's too bad the game works that way. But this game doesn't have any issues like that in the end. The game works well, and it's really balanced. One of the most balanced games, considering the variety, one of the most balanced games that are out there, you know? There's other stuff in Soul Calibur 1 that's kind of an issue too. Like, there are a lot of bugs. Killick has something called a monument thrust block, where if you block heavy attacks and buffer in his monument stance, which is like a fireball motion, it does like a alpha counter, except you get free launchers. So you're not even able to block something safe, because, they're not able to use safe moves against Killick because he can alpha counter them for free with no required meter. It's kind of cheap. It doesn't really work well. Soul Calibur 1 has a lot of glaring issues. Really big issues, you know? But this game is super tight. This character is so interesting. He's got like a giant sidestep, and he's got a really, really good launcher, but it's unsafe. This game, one of the other things I was mentioning earlier, so the two things that really make this game special are the cancel and the GI system, which I find to be related. But also the movement, right? 8-way run, super unique, right? But let's not forget the combo system, right? After this Soul Calibur, for some reason, Namco thought it would be a good idea to lengthen the number of hits to the combo. Characters started to get multi-stun combos, characters started to get juggles off the wall, and it really, like, didn't make sense to me. To me, Soul Calibur was about spacing, air control, GIs, and timing. It wasn't about combos, that was Tekken. In Tekken, you launch them, and they have no air control, and you juggle them until the system no longer allows the juggle to continue. I don't know what the fuck they did that for. Why did they do that, right? That's another problem with the newer Soul Caliburs. They just got into all these juggles. These old ones are so simple. The longest combos are 3 hits, right? Boom, boom, boom. 3-hit combo, right? Maybe 4 hits if you get a stun first, right? Here's the stun, here's the launcher. And you know, it's really simple. Boom, that's it. That's it. You know, and that's like super high level shit. We're not even talking like regular old stuns. You know, if you hit with a counter hit, like, let's say you hit with this. 1-hit combo. And big damage. You know, it doesn't require countless hours of training mode. You just fucking do it. You just tell someone, hey, what do I do if I hit a counter hit 3A with Cervantes? Oh, down A plus B. No need for training mode. You just fucking do it. You know? It was the simplicity of this game that made it so accessible by Tekken players. In fact, at the time, I distinctly remember Tekken players having the attitude of, Tekken is the hard game. Of course I'll be able to kick the shit out of these Soul Calibur players. Soul Calibur is the simple game. It's the easy game. That's why I'm gonna play it. All the Tekken players played Soul Calibur because Tekken was complicated. It had all these juggles, complex movement. They would go to Soul Calibur because all they had to do was play chess. They just had to sit down and beat the opponent's mind. No need for training mode. Just move around. You know, just move around, dodge shit, and fuck them up. You know? So, I don't know. The simplicity of SC is what made it so good. Yeah, I completely agree, Max. Max is saying that's what they forgot. And it's totally true. They added a meter, they added all these system mechanics that are fucking stupid. They took away the things that make this game unique, like short combos, GI back and forth tug of wars, and freedom of movement. They took all that shit out and they made it into this weird bootlegged version of Tekken. You know, it just really, it didn't work out in the long run, I think. But again, they're gonna make a new game for sure. You can guarantee that, right? They're gonna make a new game. So it's almost like when I hear about Soul Calibur 6, I think the same thoughts I think when I hear Resident Evil 7, right? The kid in me is, there's like a small flame in there. The kid in me, the naive idiot, is excited. The naive fucking moron is excited. But I'm concerned, right? Fool me once, you ain't gonna fool me again. You know what I mean? And when I think about the concern of the future of the Calibur series, I think, man, that shit, what if it's like what if you have to do something to change it from sucking, right? That's a thought that I'm kind of like, you know, it's in my mind, right? Because obviously someone in my position has at least some kind of like say, right? Some kind of, my voice has some kind of weight to it. So if I like something, maybe I could get it to happen, right? It's happened in the past. I complained my ass off to Harada about no training mode record function in Tekken 6, and look at what happened in Tekken Tag 2. There's like 8 of them. So I know that my opinion matters, and for that reason, I don't really ask for too much, right? What if I was the kind of guy that was like, the ice clone doesn't function properly, make Dragunov hella good, or make whatever my favorite characters are in these games hella good? I never do that. I never even tell them to do anything, right? Ever. Except for like record function and shit like that, right? But, you know, I could, right? And people could, other people could. So, I don't know, maybe we should. Because if nobody does, God knows what they're gonna do with it, right? I mean, who knows who's even gonna make the game? This game is super tight. Yeah, make Soul Calibur great again. Dude, I know, and it's not even that hard. It's so close. It's so, like, simple. The concepts are already there. It's just like, I mean, I don't know. They're gonna make one in the end.
Do you think Tekken Street Fighter will come out first of Soul Calibur? Just asking because Akuma looks awesome.
Huh. Do you think Tekken X Street Fighter will come out first before... You know, I don't know. Gippy2 Man. Hey, thanks for the 5 smackaroos, bro. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, they can only do one thing at the same time, and I know that they've talked about, I mean, one thing at one time. And I know they've talked about their concern with potentially cannibalizing themselves with, or not themselves, all fighting games cannibalizing each other because there's too many, oversaturation on the market. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the future, you know, of Namco, but I do know that Harada's getting old, and I don't know how many more games he's got left in him, you know? So, we'll see. And Tekken 7's taking fucking forever. So, we'll see what happens.